Here is what 26% body fat looks like. There's very little muscle definition. Most of the muscle that you've built is covered by body fat, and it's very difficult to see the physique that you've actually built underneath. And here is what 10% body fat looks like. Cap shoulders, much tighter at the waist, visible abs, and just more definition throughout the entirety of the physique. I'm Gabriel Rutherford. I've been a coach now for over 6 years, and in this video, I'm gonna go over how I got there, some of the mistakes I've made along the way, and how I've prevented clients like James, Sam, and Tom from making those same mistakes. Now, number one is being too extreme with my diet and attempts. When I was 18, I used to work on a construction site, and one of the most stupid things I decided to do was remove all carbs out of my diet. So I was going to the gym after a 10, 12-hour shift and was wondering why I couldn't lift a barbell. I was wondering why I was so weak, tired, and flat when I looked in the mirror. And yeah, the scales were going down, which was great, but my performance in the gym was nothing more than absolute dog shit. Number two is do not panic in the adaptation phase. So what this is, in the first 4 to 8 weeks, you will notice that you will see fairly quick results. And this is usually because you've mainly tidied your diet up, you've added in some additional cardio, you may have increased your step counts. And during that period, then the body will just naturally adapt and things will start to slow down. So it's super important that you make the correct changes during that time frame. And whatever you do, do not just slash your calories in half, because it will be suicidal. The next thing, which is still really common amongst men, I don't understand quite why, but it's ignoring muscle. It's very easy to just want to lose weight, slash calories really low, scale your cardio up to ridiculous levels, but you'll neglect any form of strength training. And this is why my client Sam lost a lot of body fat and a lot of weight, but he also lost a lot of muscle because he neglected to build any form of muscle mass before we worked together. And this puts me on to the first major point really, and we need to ensure that training intensity is absolutely nailed. So one thing we need to get right is with the strength training program is we need to match the intensity with good form and good technique. So most guys will go in and they might do 12 reps with really good form, but their intensity, you look at them and you think they could do another 5 to 10 reps at least. So therefore, the body isn't going to adapt. You're giving it no reason to. I'll see it on the other side where people's intensity's super high, they're doing drop sets, they're rushing everything, but there's no control, there's no coordination, and the technique takes a hit because of this. So it's really important that we match the two of these. Now, once we have nailed down the weight training, then we need to make sure that your cardio isn't super high. You're not just going in and doing 45 minutes on the Stairmaster or some other form of cardio. I see it all the time. Guys going in, do 45 minutes or up to an hour. And as long as they hit that time frame, they're pretty satisfied and pretty happy that they've hit that target. It's very easy to just go in and go through the motions if you do that. So what I would do is I would set a calorie target or a distance. I personally think calories work better. So you go in, you complete 200 calories. Once you've completed the 200 calories on that machine, you can get on, get off, and it just allows you to be a little bit more intense with your cardio, actually have something in mind, a specific goal, and also you can just be a little bit more efficient when it comes to the cardio and the fat loss. Talking of calories, then we want to make sure that your nutrition is absolutely spot on, and I don't just mean being in a calorie deficit. You are too long in the tooth to be doing stuff like that, but what I do mean is we need to be ensuring that your carbs aren't just coming from the form of sugar, and we're getting in quality carb sources. And we're also limiting saturated fats as well. Because if we do that, then it's more likely that your fiber is going to be heightened. Now, the positive of making sure that you get quality, complete protein sources and adequate fiber is they both have a thermogenic effect of food, which means that when the body is breaking them down, it has to heat up in order to basically burn calories and break down that food. So it's really important that you're not just going, oh, I'm hitting a decent calorie target and I'm getting some trace proteins in. Complete proteins, solid fiber source. Now, for one of the most overlooked things, and I see it all the time, guys, because they're so proud, they want to graft, they want to provide, and it's just things that we want to do as men. It's probably a proud thing, but people do not recover enough. And this is where sleep comes into the equation. One study showed that when guys slept for 8.5 hours and 5.5 hours, they both lost the same weight across the study. But this is where the nuance is. The group that slept for 5.5 hours lost 50% of it through body fat, but the other 50% through their muscle. And the 8.5 lost all of it through body fat. So basically, come the end of the study, the body compositions looked dramatically different. Now, I understand that you might have 12, in some cases 15-hour shifts, so it is pretty hard for you to consistently get 8.5 hours in. But we want to try and minimize the effect of that 5.5, and we want to try and at least get 7 hours. Now, lastly, mindset is so important. And the first thing that comes to mind is off-plan meals. Guys will go into restaurants, they'll order appetizers, 3-course meals, a couple of beers, maybe half a bottle of wine. Before you know it, they've had 3,000 calories in one meal, and that's impacted their whole calorie intake for the week, but also it's affected their fat loss and performance over the weekend. So what I do with my one-to-one clients is I'll give them training day calories, and I'll reduce the calories on rest days. So people might refer to calorie banking. I would rather reduce the calories on rest days where they're not utilizing that much fuel, so that when it does come to Saturday, train over those days and make the most out of those calories. And what I'll also do is I'll go through the menus of those meals and educate them and empower them on what are the best decisions to make going forwards that are not going to really hinder their progress. Now, just tying in with mindset, if you have trained for a while, then you've probably tried many different dieting attempts. And every time you're hungry, it does not just give you the license to just go and grab shit from the cupboard. You need to sit with the hunger, because the reality is that you have been in a calorie surplus and carrying excessive body fat for a long period of time. And this is just a matter of fact. So I'm not saying that to be blunt. It's something that you really need to work on. And if you're struggling with all those things that I've mentioned and you're wanting clarity, you want direction, and you want a pathway to an elite level transformation, just like Sam, James and Tom, that all lost over 30 pounds of body fat, then I've popped the link below to find out more about coaching. And if you enjoy practical, evidence-based content like this that's going to help you reach your physical potential, then make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video.